Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome to another episode right here on If You Don't Like That. I was off yesterday, so we're getting caught up on everything that went on. Summer League is in the books. We've got NFL training camps underway. Thank goodness for that, huh? Thank goodness for that. And anything else you want to talk about right here on this Open Forum Tuesday? If you missed Jerry on with Rhino earlier, go back and look at it at your leisure. As always, a fun segment with the one and only Jerry Reynolds. So, what do you want to talk about today? Huh? What do you want to talk about? I'm going to give you my thoughts since I wasn't with you a day ago on the Kings Summer League. Mostly positives. Mostly positives. You know, obviously, Nick Clifford and Max Reynaud got most of the attention for the first couple of games, but you look at Isaac Jones and how well he played. That's impressive. Personally, if I'm Scott Perry, and I hate to say this because I'm not giving up on the guy, so I want to make that very clear. I'm not giving up on the guy, but I can't go forward with Devin Carter as my backup point. He's not there yet. Doesn't mean he won't get there, but he's not there yet. So I was disappointed in that aspect of Summer League. So you've got to move forward with a different plan. All right. Grant, are Kings fans over optimistic on the rookies? For one thing, guys like Cooper Flagg are only 18 and Devin Carter are 23. I feel like it's not a fair comparison. It really doesn't matter whether you are 18 or 19 or 23 in this sense. A player that's 22 or 23 is more mature. They've got more life experiences, and physically, they're more mature for the most part. So they're more NBA ready, in my opinion. The flip side of that is if you are very talented and you're 18 or 19, it gives you a couple of extra years to grow into the role of being a tremendous player. You have a long shelf life. So those are some of the pros and cons, but I like having 22 and 23-year-old rookies. I like that. I mean, I think you look at Tyrese Halliburton, you look at Keegan Murray for the Kings, right? I like that. Davion Mitchell, I like that. I like a little bit older player coming out of college. I'm a fan of that. All right. Dennis says he's not a point guard. I would agree, Dennis. I would agree. It doesn't look that way. Clifford did make first team Summer League, which good for him. I don't get caught up in that stuff. I saw what I needed from Nick Clifford, that he will have a role on the team this year. Now, I don't know what that role will be. I did not understand the Kings signing Doug McDermott, quite frankly. It doesn't make any sense to me. But, it's not a big deal. It's minimum money. But I didn't quite understand that aspect of it. I don't understand why. Why. But, Renault, once he gets stronger, and that is going to be a problem for him in his first season. He's going to get pushed around. He's going to have an issue staying out of foul trouble. He's going to have a problem guarding a number of players in the NBA. He's going to get manhandled on that end of the floor for a while. Again, I use the term for a while. Offensively, he's skilled. He can shoot. He can pass. He can put it on the floor. That's good. All right. Dennis still going crazy over Max, the next French Dirk. Come on. Stop it. Come on. Dennis, there's more to the NBA than three-point shooting. All right. There's more to the NBA than three-point shooting. Doug McDermott's a good three-point shooter, and he can't play. He's a better three-point shooter than Max, and he can't get on the floor because he doesn't do anything else. All right? So keep that in mind. All right. What do you want to talk about today? Hit me up. If you have any thoughts on Summer League, let's do it. How about Scotty Scheffler running away and hiding at the Open Championship at Royal Portrush? What a course that is, huh? Northern Ireland. That was beautiful. And how about the conditions on Sunday? Oh, my gosh. Incredible. Incredible. But uh, I'm into football now, right? Basketball's in our rearview mirror for a while. Get me to football, training camps. Get me some news. All right? Love it. NFL news. And how about Cam Ward with Tennessee? Looks like he's in the driver's seat. If you had any thoughts of Will Levis, he's out for the year with shoulder surgery. Tennessee's not going to be very good anyway. What about the Niners? Are they going to bounce back? Right? The Raiders secondary is a big issue that I see. Defensive front solid. You go running back first round, that should improve. You got a couple of issues, though. There are holes on that team in a very difficult division because to me, Denver's improved. I look at the Kansas City Chiefs that are a machine, and I look at the Chargers, second year under Harbaugh. I still don't see how the Raiders are going to win 8 or 9 games this year. 9 games would be great. All right. Do I have any thoughts about Trump wanting the Commanders and the Guardians name to change back to where they were? I don't have any thoughts on Trump and what he wants, but I wasn't a fan of the name change in the first place. Now, I have not done extensive research on this topic in terms of going out and talking with Native Americans and those that may be offended. But I find it just from what I'm reading that those individuals are few and far between. And in our woke culture, which is the United States of America, we have now gone overboard. The fact that you cannot have a team nickname be the Indians is mind-boggling to me. In New York, where I grew up on Long Island, the nickname of my high school team, Syosset Braves. That's no good anymore. All right? That's no good anymore. Really? You can't be called the Braves? Like, what's going on in our society? We're offended by that? Who's offended by that? Who's offended by the Cleveland Indians? Was anyone ever offended until our country became woke? Who's offended by that? Step forward if you're offended by the Cleveland Indians name. Seriously, who are you? You know? I don't understand that. All right? I don't understand that. Like, I want to ask you right here, are you offended by the Indians? Does that bother you? Like, seriously, does that bother you? Why? Why would that bother you? All right? What's up there, Dorian? One day closer to Kings basketball. Love you, brother. Love you too, my friend. Is there a chance if Vivek sells the team and it remains in Sacramento? Well, it would remain in Sacramento regardless. They have a ironclad lease. They're not going anywhere. So if he sells the team, yes, they would remain in Sacramento. Several Indian organizations have come out and said they want the name back. You know, again, give me a call on Summer League, team names, training camps, and anything else you want to talk about. You got the links right here. All right? Hit me up. Hit me up right here on if you don't like that. Reaction on the Pacquiao fight. Why is Pacquiao still fighting? Seriously, that's my reaction. Go away. But I want to get back to the names. Like, if a very small percentage of people, and I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm saying if a very small percentage of people find something offensive, that's too bad. Okay? Because the reality is there are individuals that think I'm offensive because of the way I conduct my show. there are people that think I'm offensive when I call someone like a moron, like Dennis. Dennis, you're not a moron. I'm just using you as an example from last week. You're a little overzealous, buddy, but you're not a moron, all right? Because I don't want you getting all upset at me to start my work week, all right? But what I'm saying is, like, there are people that get offended over anything, all right? So, like, my advice is, if it's very much in the minority, live with it. I don't think we should make wholesale changes because a very small percentage of people are offended by the tomahawk chop at the Atlanta Braves and Florida State Seminole games. Like, that bothers people? Like, do you think that anyone that's doing the tomahawk chop at the Braves games are thinking about anything other than at that moment inspiring their team or the Chiefs? Like, are you offended by the Kansas City Chiefs name? You know, there's been talk about they need to change their name. Really? The Chiefs? Huh? Seriously? You know, when I was growing up as a kid, I was in 4-H. And we used to make these Indian headdresses, Sioux Indian headdress. We used to do our own beadwork and our own feathers. It was something I really enjoyed doing and learning about the Indian culture in 4-H. And we did it at 4-H camp, and we would dress up in Indian gear for Indian Heritage Night. No one ever had a problem with that. It's never an issue. No problem. Now all of a sudden in 2025, we have to get rid of my high school nickname, the Syosset Braves? Seriously? Huh? Unbelievable. Am I watching the Chargers and Lions game on Thursday? Probably only for this reason. Because it's football. But there won't be any players that I recognize for the most part on the field. But I'm so happy it's here. I'm so happy. All right? Okay, here we go. Proud Native American. I'm not offended by the Indians. Redskins is a bit much for my taste, but I'm not a Washington fan and I just won't buy any of their merchandise. I don't think they needed to change it. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Said again, he's not offended by the Indians. Redskins is a bit much for his taste. But he didn't think they needed to change it. I think there are a lot of people that feel that way. And thank you very much for chiming in. I really appreciate that. All right. Dennis says, was based on a composite. I read the first part. You said the Washington Redskins logo used from 72 to 2020 was designed by Walter Blackie Wetzel, a Blackfeet National tribal member, and was based on a composite of Native American images, primarily inspired by Blackfeet Chief John Two Guns Whitecap. You know, Dennis, you're a wealth of knowledge, man. Wow. Yeah. How about that? Dennis is all over it. Dennis, how can I call someone with that type of information a moron? Like, see, like, it doesn't make sense. See, you know where I'm going, Dennis? I'm talking to you, man. I'm on your side, Dennis. I got you. I'm going to make Dennis a folk hero on this show. Actually, Dennis has already done that. Again, I hope you have a chance to go back and watch Rhino with Jerry Reynolds today. They're on each and every Tuesday at 3:00 right here on If You Don't Like That. Talking about the Rooks, talking about other things going on in the NBA as we move forward. Now everything quiets down a little bit in the NBA until we get to the middle of September. All right. Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate that. I am so pumped up for football season and all of the shows that I'm going to be doing right here, many with Ryan. I'm pumped up for a new King season with some Rooks, some new blood that we'll be doing all of the shows again this year right here. We did 82 post-game shows last year. Now, I missed a few. Rhino missed a few, but not much. But we still did the show 82 times. This is your place for Kings basketball. When the bell rings, Rhino will be here. I'll be here. We're not going anywhere. All right? Tell your friends. Tell your Kings buddies, Napes and Rhino and Jerry. They've got you covered. That's what we do right here on If You Don't Like That. Jerry Reynolds was very high on Isaac Jones earlier in the show, saying he expects him to get quality minutes in the future. You know, I didn't hear what Jerry said about Isaac Jones, but this is what I would add. He does a lot of things that this team really needs. And when I think about the composite of this team, he's not a guy that really needs the ball to be effective. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of a smaller Scott Pollard, a guy that is just going to help you, who is going to play balls out, who doesn't really need the ball to be effective. Now, Isaac offensively is more skilled than Scott, and I think if he can learn how to shoot a mid-range jumper better, then I agree with that, if that's what Jerry said. You know, when I watch his game, you know, I didn't know a lot about Isaac Jones. And when I look at what he did in college, you know, he didn't really get going until later on. And he was first team all Pac-12 in 2024. And he reminds me of a late developer type of a player. I think he's 24 or 25 years old right now, which is fine. He's physically ready to go. He's 6'9". You know, will he be able to defend 4s and 5s? Will he be able to defend some 5s? Yes. Will he be a guy that gets minutes? I think so. I mean, I like him better than Eubanks, from who they picked up from the Clippers, who's bigger. But there's a lot of positives there, you know? All right, here we go. If the WNBA players decide to strike, could it be the end of the WNBA? I'm going to say this about the WNBA, and I've been very open about this. I'm a fan of women's basketball, but I'm not a fan of the WNBA, and I don't watch it. I watch women's college basketball, not on a regular basis, but a semi-regular basis. If it's on and I'm home, I'll watch it. I enjoy watching it. The WNBA has turned me off so much that I refuse to watch it. And it has turned me off so much because of the greed and the stupidness of their players. The T-shirts that they wore at the All-Star game, like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You've just turned off a large portion of your fans by that. Didn't you learn anything from the past? You're talking about the WNBA. You haven't made a dime. You're not owed anything. If anything, you need to pay the league back. Greed, jealousy. And here's the biggest problem that I have with the WNBA, both from within the WNBA and more so outside the WNBA in the national media. Very rarely do you see any commentary about the quality of play in the WNBA. It's all black versus white. It's all white versus black. It's all racism. A hard foul on Caitlin Clark is racist. A call not made on so-and-so is racist. That's where we've gotten with the WNBA. And you know what? It's turned Grant Napier off. I won't watch it. I refuse to watch it. And I think the league needs new leadership. It needs a David Stern type. I'll tell you right now, if David Stern was still with us, you think this crap would be going on in the WNBA? No. What's happening to the WNBA, all the problems, players need to look in the mirror. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Could Caitlin Clark beat De'Aaron Fox in a one-on-one? Are we really having this conversation? You're kidding me, right? Are you serious? Good Lord. Wow. Very true. WNBA seems to perpetuate political propaganda at all costs. There is no doubt about that. I don't watch it. I won't watch it. I refuse to watch it. I don't refuse to get in touch with New Works Plumbing, though, when needed for your plumbing needs and repairs. Call the number on your screen, the website, or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. And again, remember, they are available around the clock, 24/7. All right? So get in touch with them. And I want to thank everyone that's reached out talking about New Works and how happy they were with them. I pass it along. They appreciate it, and I do as well. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Do you think that we as a society will get away from all the nonsense that goes on in professional sports? The absurdity of end racism, and it takes all of us at the end of the NFL end zones and on the back of helmets. I've been so grateful from day one. The New York Giants never had a message on the back of their helmet. And I was like, man, I am so proud of this organization to stay away from that crap. And there were other organizations. I wanted Tampa to win last year, but I couldn't root for them when the playoffs began because all of the players had these stupid ass messages on the back of their helmets. That turns me off. I'm not going there. It's just wrong. And the sports leagues are so scared of the wokeness that they just pander to any outcry of you got to do this, you got to do that. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. So do I think it's going to change? I think it's changing a little bit, but it's still there. You know, it's still there. It really is. I told you about 5 years ago, maybe less, I talked to one of the owners of a sports franchise. And we were at lunch one day back on the East Coast. And he was telling me how much he loved being an owner. And he talked to me about why he became an owner and everything else. And I asked him, I go, is there anything about being an owner that you don't like? He said, yeah, of course. I go, what's that? He goes, we have to pander to all of the groups. Because if we do something for one group, a special night, then all of a sudden everyone's picking up the phone. And if you don't do it, you get destroyed on social media. And then it becomes viral. And you've got a problem. And he said, that's not why I bought this team. That's not why I became a sports owner, so that I could have a this night, that night, T-shirts, all, because that's not, I bought this team to win and to bring joy to the fans. I didn't buy this team to have, Heritage Night here, Heritage Night there, Pride Night here, this night there. That's not why I bought the team. And he said, yeah, of course I'm going to welcome all groups, but do we have to single out every group, every game? Why? Why? I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. I understand. Said the Kings are no stranger to this mess. That dumb call to white people and the hiring of the current play-by-play announcer made me no longer a fan. Kings are at the top of the list in terms of woke and stupidity. The top of the list. Maybe not number one, but they're at the top of the list. I mean, it's a long list, but they're at or near the top. It's embarrassing, is what it is. It's embarrassing. But that's where we're at. But I think people in general are just getting tired of it all, right? They're getting tired of it all right? They really are, all right? Man. All right. What else you want to talk about? We got the nicknames. We got Summer League. We've got National Football League news, or anything else that you want to talk about right here on If You Don't Like That. You heard that Ben Simmons is coming to the Kings. I haven't heard that. I would not be a fan of that. I would not be a fan of that. I know the Knicks have inquired. I know the Celtics haven't inquired. I don't know why anyone would want Ben Simmons. Does the guy want to play? Is he going to play? Oh, my back hurts. Oh, yeah, I'm not ready to go tonight. Oh, yeah, no. Miss your candor in EDH. Thank you. My candor is not going anywhere. My candor's on full display right here. All right. Do you think the NBA going woke will make them broke? No, of course not. They just signed a multi-billion-dollar TV contract. And even the NBA has gotten a little bit better with this. A little bit. All right. Are the Warriors done? They're done in terms of being a championship contender. Yes. Are they done being a playoff team? No. As long as they have Steph Curry, as long as they have Butler and everyone, no. I'd rather have Boogie Cousins than Ben Simmons. I wouldn't. Will we have the NFL pick'em on Yahoo? Probably. I'm sure Rhino will say yes to that. I don't want to speak for him, but I would say yes, we will have something. All right. How'd you do on that last year? Were you in the? I actually was very good. I never even saw the final standings. I don't even look how my weekly picks do until like we get to December. Like I didn't even know, but I was like, whoa. I was like, man, I was pretty happy. Any good stories on the L train, Lionel Simmons? He was before my time. Great man. Loved them. We used to joke all the time about the Giants and the Eagles, him being from Philadelphia. I love the L train. Loved him. Big fan of his. I have no idea what he's doing. Too bad. Knees really cut his career shorter than it should have been. All right. But I'm a big fan of Lionel Simmons. Good people, man. Good people. Good people. James says, I think I was top 5. That's good. That's good. Top 5 is good. Absolutely. I got something better than top 5. All right. I got something number 1 in my book, and that's Bennett's. All right. Whether it's Sacramento Roseville or the West Side Grill in Rockland, prime seafood and steak. And right now, they've got the taste of summer going on with really excellent prices on a variety of entrees. They've got new apps, many available for $6, which I absolutely love. It's all there for you. All right. Like the chicken wings, 1.5 pounds of drumettes, oven roasted, flash fried, tossed in spicy barbecue sauce, served with carrots, celery, and ranch. They got the salmon lettuce cups, creamy poached salmon, butter lettuce, apple chives, spicy chicken sliders. It's awesome. All right. Now, these, I'm going to be not lying to you, they're not $6, but they're not that much more. And again, many selections on new items are available for $6. How about your taste of summer dinner, 2 courses, a great starter, and a choice of 4 entrees for $30, or add a special dessert for $5 more. It's all there for you at Bennett's. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com to make a reservation. That's bennettsrestaurants.com. Had a nice chat with Brian today, Brian Bennett, and everything they do. I can't wait to get back there. I'm going to be heading back to Sacramento the last week of August and the first couple of weeks of September. So I will be at Bennett's. I'll be at all 3 locations. Maybe I'll see you there. If you see me at Bennett's, come up and say hi. All right. Would love to do that. Would love to do that. Would love to do that. Do I have any good stories about Matt Barnes, or was he always a jerk? He wasn't always a jerk. He just is who he is. Getting in a brawl in a New York City nightclub the night before a game, that's great. putting drinking Hennessy on social media from the Philadelphia locker room with DeMarcus, waiting to leave the arena because the game had been postponed due to condensation on the floor. Oh, yeah, let's show everyone that, we as professional athletes are drinking Hennessy in the locker room. Smart, real smart. Oh, let's hit women. Smart. I mean, I can go on and on. In all fairness, because I think the guy is just a complete disgrace. He played the game hard every time. He never took a play off. I'll give him credit for that. I mean, I got to be fair here. He earned his way into the league and played hard and had a good career because of it. But I think I've always said this. I think he has an anger management problem. I think it's pretty obvious he has an anger management problem. There are a lot of players that I've covered in various sports over the years. And when you're around them on a daily basis, you learn about their personality traits and their character. And it's really sad to see a professional athlete do some of the things that I saw with my own eyes. Right? Really sad. Really sad. Some things on video that are not disputable, like Matt calling a law enforcement officer in Los Angeles an MFF, a gay slur, right on video. I mean, we can go on and on. You can't dispute that, right? You can't dispute a audio recording of DeMarcus Cousins telling his baby mama that he's going to put a bullet in her head. Like you can't dispute that. Now, maybe now in this era of AI, maybe you can, because I'm not an expert on this. I'm not an expert on AI and what you can and cannot do, but this was before AI. So that stuff's not manufactured. That's not like somebody making it up. Okay? That stuff's real. That stuff happened. Like, you just can't forget about that stuff. All right? Can't forget about it. I think now I don't know what's real and what's not real. Do you know what's real when you watch the internet? I mean that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I do know what's real, though, in Calusa, and that's Sunrise Landing. All right? There's nothing made up about this tremendous community in Calusa from Blazona Development. Nothing. All right? Beautiful models. No Mellorews. That's real. No homeowners. That's real. Adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. That's real. Good access to I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. That's all real and true. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. Check out everything that you need to know at Sunrise Landing in Calusa. Seriously, though, do you know what's real and what's fake when you go on the internet now? I don't. I really don't. How old is Manny Pacquiao? How old is he? Let me see. I don't even know how old Manny Pacquiao is. How old is Manny Pacquiao? He was born in he's 46. Really? Like, are we still talking about a guy boxing at 46? Why is a guy boxing at 46? And yeah, I love watching Pacquiao fight. I loved all those fights, but he's 46. Good Lord. Man, come on. 46. People are really boxing in their 40s and 50s, like Mike Tyson? Why? Man, come on. Please. Too old to keep boxing. I agree. Stop it already. Just, why do fans gravitate towards that? Like, why? Why do you want to watch a 46-year-old man fight and box? right? Especially when you see boxers later in life and all of the apparent issues that they seem to have from getting constantly pounded in the head. Gosh, can't we watch or just watch for entertainment instead of deciphering if it's real or not? You can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what you should or cannot do or want to do. I'm telling you, when I look at something on the internet that I find puzzling, I ask myself, is it real or is it fake? That's what I'm saying. So, you call it entertainment. If you're demeaning somebody, that's not entertainment, right? Like if you're mocking somebody and demeaning them with AI, I don't think that's right. Right? If you're putting a photo of me somewhere where I was not, making it look like I was in an area where I wasn't, that made me look bad, that's wrong. Do I have any Michael Jordan stories? No, other than the fact that there was nothing better than going to the old Chicago Stadium and the introductions by the great Bulls PA voice, Ray Clay. It's the best introduction in all the sport. Out of North Carolina. That's great. If you never saw that, just go to YouTube and put in Bulls starting lineups with Michael Jordan. It's incredible. Incredible. Prior to getting Mitch, what were some of the solid players for the Kings that come to your mind? Reggie Theus, Otis Thorpe, Eddie Johnson, Mike Woodson. I mean, Joe Klein was, he wasn't Karl Malone, but he was a good player for most of his NBA career. Not great. Ed Pinckney, Harold Presley. I mean, in the late 80s, there were some very good players. But Reggie, Otis Thorpe, LaSalle Thompson, love those guys. I love that era of Kings basketball. That was so much fun. That was so much freaking fun. It really was. What's the thing I missed the most about calling games, and what's the thing you missed the least? It's a great question. The thing I missed the most are the great spontaneous moments that you don't know that they're going to happen. And you got to be ready, and you want to nail the call. And I've always said this, and it's true. You don't remember the first 47 minutes of a basketball game from an announcer's perspective if the game ended in unbelievable dramatic fashion, right? Like the Tyreek Evans shot against Memphis. Nobody remembers anything I said in the first 47 minutes and 45 seconds. But that play is shown all the time in Sacramento and all the highlights and everything, right? That's just one minor example. The Bogdanovich game winner against the Lakers, same thing. And they had a camera on us so that you could see the play, and then after it, they showed my reaction. I miss those moments. That's what you live for as an announcer. How do you call the game's biggest moments? Klay Thompson scoring 37 points in the third quarter against Sacramento. One of my favorite 12 minutes of basketball that I've ever called. Kings coming from 35 down to beat the Bulls on the road behind Tyreek Evans. And that was one of my favorite quarters of basketball that I've ever announced. That's what I miss the most. The thing I miss the least, I never really looked at any aspect of me actually doing the play-by-play in any shape or form as negative, other than maybe missing my wife's birthday or a special game that my sons were playing in, or something that was important going on at school that I missed. Like you miss those things. You miss those things. And then I don't miss going on the radio every day when the franchise was in turmoil, right? Like, I don't miss that. Now, I understand I had a large audience, and in those days, people were tuning in to me to hear what Grant Napier was going to say, and I get that. And I understand that drove my show and enabled me to have a 26 plus year run at the same station in the same time slot. But boy, that wears on you after a while. Every single day, 4 hours every day, talking about the same thing over and over and over again. Right? I went through it with Chris Webber. I went through it with Cousins. I went through it with, are the Kings staying? Are they moving? And yeah, I got good numbers and I was making very good money and everyone was listening to me. And that part of it's great, but it wears on you. It really does. It wears on you. Right? Like, I got to rip the team on the radio and then I got to go on the team bus the next day. And the vast majority of players understood. And I knew the players were listening to my show because they told me they were listening to my show. I know it because they would come up to me and go, God, I can't believe what you said to that guy on the radio today. Like, the players listened to my show because they told me. And sometimes they would make fun of me, like they would mock me about how I told the caller off. But, they also listened when I got critical of them. And if they were thin-skinned, they couldn't handle it. But most of the players weren't thin-skinned. Most of the players understood. And they really agreed with me. But there were a few players that were very thin-skinned. So that's I don't really miss that part. Like, I'm very honest and I'm very opinionated, as you know. Yeah, I'm not going to go on any radio station anywhere in America and not be opinionated. I did the same thing when I filled in for Romy. Why do you think they had me back for 18 years? Huh? Because I wasn't vanilla. They like that. That's who I am. I'm not going to change. I don't change here. I'm not going to change if I get another radio job. That's who I am. If you hire me, don't try to change me. That's who I am. I'm going to move the needle. And I'm going to attract an audience, and I'm hoping that you stay with me. And I hope that you don't get offended like Dennis did. Dennis, we're good though now, right? But Dennis got offended last week because I came down on him hard. That bothers me a little bit. I wish people wouldn't get offended when I jump on them. It's just radio, all right? It's just we're having fun here, all right? All right? So, Grant, thank you for your unfiltered, knowledgeable opinions. Every time we watch a Kings game, we miss you and Jerry on the call. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Do I think Katie was hired because she's a female? Honest take, Grant. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do. I know I asked you before, but can you tell the sweating like a fat girl story? Just go on to YouTube and put Grant Napier's Fat Rant. You can watch it. All right? You can watch it. Grant's saying that there's always an on switch, but there's no off switch. Dennis, I have an off switch, buddy. There are times when I've like I gotta go away. Turn it off, Grant known for roasting people. Now, you know what I'm known for? And maybe you call it that way. I think I'm known for being honest and being opinionated. And I'd like to think being knowledgeable. Like, I really try hard to watch all the games. Like, when it's football season, like, I literally try to watch every single game. I try to be completely dialed in. Even now in the NBA, I have a lot of people that I call during the season that are still coaches in the league, both head coaches and assistant coaches, and I talk with them on a fairly regular basis. I'm still very close with a couple of the referees in the league, many of whom are the top officials in the league, and I have dialogue with them. I'm still in touch with a lot of the announcers on the various teams. Like, I'm not like just trying to do a show by the seat of my pants. I have sources. All right. I get my information from a variety of different sources that I know are there and that I trust. So I take this seriously. Now, that's the one thing I've always tried to do. I take it seriously. I really do. All right. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Don't forget Rhino in Sacktown at 3 o'clock. And if you missed the show I'm going to go back and watch the show in a little while. If you missed the show with Jerry today at 3 o'clock, go back and check it out at your leisure. Always fun to listen to Rhino and Jerry. They're on each and every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Appreciate you all. Stay safe, everyone. 8 o'clock tomorrow, right here on If You Don't Like That. Bye-bye.